What is going on, guys? Welcome to Geekly Goods, y'all, or welcome back if you're returning. Guys, I am here to talk about an anime very near and dear to my heart with special guests that are also very near and dear to my heart. Guys, we're talking My Hero Academia, the anime and the manga today. So I will give you a spoiler warning this once. We're going to start off the discussion just kind of a general My Hero Academia chat, then we're going to move into the anime, then the manga. Now, I know some of you are on the anime, so you might want to read the manga, catch up, then come back and watch this because it gets a lot deeper in the manga and it's a lot further along. So just so you know, it's a little bit further. But guys, I am very delighted to be joined by some great special guests today. Couple of these guys run the podcast called the Amateur Otaku, and guys, we pretty much talk every day, all day, every day about anime, guys, and they've had me on their live stream and podcast before as well. These two are super knowledgeable in anime, and my boy Isaac is also very knowledgeable in Nintendo, Fire Emblem, man, anything Super Smash Bros. This guy knows it all. And then we're also joined by Novice Cinephile, aka Mike. Guys, I am very, very delighted to introduce these fellas. Come on in, guys. How we doing?
Yo.
What's going on, folks?
What's up, guys?
Got the full panel.
Yeah.
I'm here.
All Mike down there. I'm Deku, so I just want to be like you, man. That's all. It's
so do I just
goal.
break my finger to be Deku, or is that's not
Gotta eat the hair first, dude.
Yeah, come on, man. Then you got to train for 9 months. What are we doing here?
That's true. I'm not close to a beach. No.
Come on, man. You got to pull that trash and haul safes back and forth.
Common.
All right, guys. So let's just start out with a little general discussion. Starting off with our favorite characters, I'm going to just go around. Who are your top three, starting with you, All Mike? Who are your top three My Hero Academia characters?
So, are we starting off with manga spoilers? Because my favorite character depends on anime or manga.
Okay, you know what? We'll drop right into manga spoilers then. Just because you asked. We're dropping right into manga spoilers.
Okay, because if it was the anime... Hold on. I actually wrote this down just to make sure I was keeping track of the anime.
I love it.
We're like 3 arcs ahead now in the manga. So
like
if it was
ahead.
the anime, it'd be Deku, Lemillion, and Shoto.
Yes.
If it's the manga, it's Deku, Shoto, and Bakugo, or Hawks. I can't really decide.
Yeah, because Bakugo's gotten a lot further along in the manga.
So much further.
I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. All right, Brandon, who's your top three?
Deku, 100%. Deku's my top.
Always, bro.
And it's because I just relate to him so much. And I think he's number one on both the manga and the anime, mainly because I feel that in the manga, as it develops, he becomes more of a tragic character, of especially what's going on right now without spoilers. And I love what they're doing with him. And I like how it's kind of like well, that's a different topic. So let me know. You know, I go my rabbit holes. You asked me a question. I'm going to answer the question, damn it.
Let's hear it.
So anime. So Deku, definitely. Lemillion, definitely.
Oh my God, so good.
And Sun Eater.
I love Sun Eater too.
Dang, I didn't expect that.
And it's just because he's so smart. Like, and the way in the creative, I think he's one of those heroes whose powers he is so creative with that I don't think we've seen, because most of the powers that we've seen are very straightforward. Mm-hmm. And I like that creativity that he has with his abilities is very similar to Overhaul, especially towards the end of that arc where he starts combining all the different bodies and abilities. Like Sun Eater is kind of like an Overhaul character, but in a completely different spectrum. And the way he uses the abilities and how creative it is, which is why I find it very funny in the beginning of the first episode. I haven't seen the new season, I'm not going to lie, but I was watching the first episode of the new season. That's kind of like an anime only recap. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It feels like they're trying to sell the show to new audiences as opposed to actually moving the show along, which is smart. And suddenly he just doesn't want to do anything because he doesn't want to be a villain. I'm going home. like he's just like the coolest. Like he has. I'm not gonna swear, but he gives no He just
he gives no shit, dude.
It's like, okay, I'm going home. That's it. So, and if we're talking manga, definitely Deku, of course. Hawks, 100%.
Yeah.
And damn it, man, I not because I love the character, but because I want to see where they go. But I got a soft spot for Endeavor now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If this was a top 5, Endeavor definitely would have been on my list.
Yeah,
as
and
well.
it's because I want to see where they go. Because so far, the fact that character is gut punch after gut punch after gut punch, and you kind of see like the hero rise from within.
Yeah, totally.
That's kind of like, you know what, my dog. You know what it is?
And
okay, spoiler. I'm not gonna say it. Keep going.
No. Go ahead. You
sure? You sure?
But what I was gonna say is that Endeavor, what makes him such an interesting character is he has problems not only on the hero front but in the house front, and he's got these many different layers that just cause a lot of problems. And he's got to redeem himself, even as the number one hero. He's got to redeem himself and become, number one to his family because he's number one. Especially after what happens with the Nomu in the anime where we're at right now. There are a lot of people, they even memed a kid. I don't know if y'all saw the latest episode, but the kid that was pointing, that was like super excited about Endeavor. They like put him on hoodies and stuff. Yeah. And it was like, he became this symbol of peace after doing that, but he is still not that in his household. Right. And I want a redemptive arc for him because it seems like he's really trying. And even in the manga right now, it's just kind of like, man, you think he finally gets over, with Shoto and Bakugo and Deku, and then all of a sudden, another thing. And I'll wait till we get to manga first.
And not to take too much time on this, but one of the craziest things is on the anime, when he's about to destroy the Nomu, that dialogue, that's not in the manga. They added that on the anime, where he talks about, you are who I used to be in the past, or a future version of me. Like that, it's like him talking to himself, like, you are what I was, and if I'm not careful, you are what I'm gonna be. So it talks about that personal arc that he's going through, which I can't wait to see how it continues to move further along.
Damn, dude, I didn't even know that was original dialogue.
Yeah,
I thought it was in the manga somewhere.
Because remember, in the book, you never recap that battle.
True.
And the way, and I'm glad that they recapped it because they're talking like from the hero, from the class 1A perspective, but then they sneak in that little thing there where they kind of letting you know, hey, we're gonna keep exploring this. Which, of course, us that read the manga know, but yeah.
I love how we spent so much time talking about Endeavor, and he technically wasn't on our list.
He's on my list. Oh, but you almost sold me there. I almost was like, damn, maybe I need to put Endeavor at least in my top 10.
And Endeavor's like, that's what happened. That's the plot of this episode that came out today, right? And I know you haven't seen it yet, Brandon, but you know how that goes, the confrontation with Dabi and everything.
Yep.
And so I love how we're planting the seeds. Like, he goes back to the house and all the kids are there, and Natsuo and Shoto are just sitting there like, nice scar.
Right.
Noodles.
They don't give a shit, dude. Like, no way, whatever. That moment with Natsuo, especially in the anime, it's just so powerful and so emotional. It's like you can read it on the panels, but man, when you actually see it and you feel it, man, what a moment, what a moment. But Isaac, I want to get to you, man, for your top 3.
Honestly, it's sort of like you guys. It's are we talking in general or just 3?
You could do like these guys and do anime and manga, or you could do a general.
I was gonna say in general, it's Shota, Shoto, and in Uravity, honestly.
Oh, nice.
Because
some Uraraka love. Yeah.
Because, when it comes to Razorhead, it's sort of like he's very vocal in about his opinions and all that stuff, and
I love Aizawa.
that's
Mhm.
and that's something that I can recognize myself in, because I have never been afraid to speak my mind, so to speak. So it's sort of
We know.
relatable.
You're very punny, my friend. That's for sure.
We know.
The Promised Neverland.
And
Trigger.
Oh my
warning.
god.
Woo. Trigger warning right there. Damn.
after that season, and I'm not going to go into detail for that because it's a My Hero Academia stream, but just know that I could probably go in 2 hours on why that season sucks. So,
Woo.
but anyway, Shoto is because, well, it's more because of the family connection, sort of like when you say with the Endeavor. At some of the times, no matter if you're talking about manga or anime, it feels like I want a spin-off of this, exploring the family tragedy and all that. Yes, some more, because sometimes it might sound silly or dumb or something, but the family issues within the Torodoki is at times more interesting to me than a general story, if I'm being completely honest. Maybe
I don't blame
it's,
you.
Maybe it's because that I used to like to write myself to some degree, but it just fascinates me, and I don't know, it's sort of like that. And when it comes to Gravity, well, I have soft spots for characters like that, and it's just as simple as that. There's no writing reasons. If I'm being honest.
So there was like a whole layer for Shoto, but we get to Gravity and it's like, nah.
I mean, she's a character that's instantly likable. There's nothing. I don't see how anybody could dislike her, so I get it.
Right, I get it. I get it.
Yep. And it's like, and it's one of those characters that it's like, it's obviously meant to be like a Hanada Naruto thing.
Oh, totally.
Where she's like totally like gushing over him in the sidelines or whatever. But I like that she gets badass moments too. Like, I like the fact that she's a character in and of herself, like Hinata was.
Yeah.
And I appreciate with Uraraka, you would think that her entire personality is she's in love with Deku, but in like season 3, she straight up says that she's not focusing on that anymore.
Right.
And that makes her as a character shoot up for me, even though she technically hasn't done anything since. But it's
well, she hasn't done anything that we've seen in the anime.
See, that's
what
why
I'm talking about.
That's why I wish Heroes
manga.
Rising was like actually canon, because it was like when we saw them working with their quirks, like they actually know how to use their quirks really well together.
Yeah,
and it would be cool to just see a little bit more of that. But yeah, I mean,
you can argue that she is Sakura done right.
Yes, but let's not go there.
Yeah. Had a couple people drop in the chat. What's going on, Andrew, Tyler? Chris, Dives, what up, Dives?
What's that?
And Patrick, what's going on? Yeah, definitely check out this anime. It is amazing. You're just rewatching Ghost in the Shell over and over again.
If I may, with my co-host and that Sakura comment, Isaac, you bastard.
She is. Wait. She is not the Sakura of this.
Leave Sakura alone, damn it.
Nah, man, Sakura. I could go on. Okay, Isaac could go 2 hours about Promised Neverland. I could go on 2 hours about how Sakura's a useless character.
She's in love with the main character, but she has she realized. I wouldn't say realized, but she's focusing on her own. She's not yet. Her entire motivation is just not. Oh, I want to. No, I'm not gonna go there, but.
Wait. So we just went around the entire panel and nobody said All Might.
Well, here's the thing.
All Might down there, no All Might.
But you
We're
see,
gonna let Brandon go, and I'll follow him up.
but you know why? Do you know why?
Because he was the symbol of peace, and now
yes,
he's not.
but because the idea that he has, I don't know, like, damn it, I had it. Okay, but it's like he is like the epitome of heroes, but all you really care about is like when you go to Superman, you don't go to Superman because he's all powerful. You go to Superman for the ethical stories, for the internal struggles, for that's why you go to why you read Superman, because those are the best Superman stories. The same thing with All Might. Like All Might, you kind of like the struggle that he has, but his story is so linked to Deku's development that you can even say All Might's not really a character. To a degree.
Hold on. Let's not go
to a degree.
there.
Let me finish. To a degree. What I'm saying is that his purpose is to usher and bring a essence to Deku's story. So he's not really a character that we're meant to follow the way we follow the others.
Man, did you see Two Heroes?
No, I did.
I'm just playing. I'm just messing with
but
you.
keep in mind, the magic of those moments are not All Might. It's the fact that you see Deku with All Might.
Oh, totally.
So
yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that I don't love All Might. I'm not saying that I don't that he's not an intrinsic part of the show. But that might be, to me, that's one of the reasons why I can't put him in my top 3 or top 5 or whatever. Because at the end of the day, think about it. When you're gushing over All Might, you're not gushing over All Might. You're gushing about the feeling that all the other heroes have with All Might. It's more about that collective feel. And like you're like, oh my God, it's All Might, but it's because you're like Deku. Deku's your, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Deku is literally the manifestation of geeks. Like,
yes.
In an anime, like in a nutshell, he is the.
I've
the
got
geek.
my All Might Funko Pop. Just
Yeah,
like
dude.
Deku.
You were gonna say something though.
With All Might, I kind of agree with Brandon. I still think he is his own character, but also his entire purpose, like you've said, is to train Deku. And so as Deku gets stronger and he starts working with Aizawa and a character he hasn't worked with yet in the anime, or Gran Torino, All Might becomes less and less important, to where season 4, there was a couple episodes where the camera would have to just cut to All Might doing nothing to remind the audience that All Might existed.
Damn.
Like in the overhaul arc, there were scenes where we just cut to All Might and he had no purpose. It was just like, this is what All Might's doing today. The end.
I mean, there was that one episode when Deku had the shoot style and he was just kind of like leaned over and that boulder was about to come down on him. Like, damn, our boy All Might about to get crushed.
Yo.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I have a feeling that since Geekly Goods is growing and you have a lot of followers, suddenly we're going to have memes of like suddenly camera cuts to black, All Might is flipping burgers.
Dude, don't eat. That's not fair. That ain't even fair. Okay.
That ain't.
I'll let y'all know. My top 3 in the anime is Deku, All Might, and Lemillion. Now, Lemillion's legendary moment in season 4 was absolutely epic against Overhaul. The fact that he lost his quirk and still fought and was still willing to go all the way for that one little girl, crazy. Like,
yeah, bro.
Use your entire life, lose your quirk for Eri. That's just oh my God. And where we're at in the manga. Ooh.
I tell you about Lemillion, that fight would have been the best fight in the entire series if they animated it. That's the only thing that bugged me. It was kind of stills and like a clip type of thing going on there.
It was like a punch to the forearm and then like a still,
if they animated him fighting without his quirk, that probably would have been the best moment in the entire show.
Especially because Overhaul was like so surprised. He's like, this guy is still like operating without his quirk. Yeah, like show him like beating the mess out of him a little bit.
But then I'm gonna interject here because that's why you got me here. you got to think it was a directorial decision, because what does that bout build up to?
Deku versus Overhaul. Yeah, it's like you want that to be the star of it all.
Exactly. So you can't exactly. You can't do it. But then again, you still build Lemillion at the end. You still build Lemillion to be a top tier character. Like you got to admit, Lemillion is one of those characters that has blown. He's like, I mean, not that My Hero was ever dying down, but he's like a Negan level character. You know what I mean? Like that type of character that you introduce when the story's so further along, but it just revitalizes the entire show. Like Lemillion is that type of character.
Do you think it was like on a decline though? Because no.
I'm giving you an example. Okay. Like he's that type of character, that kind of character that comes out of nowhere and just blows up.
Yeah, because he's only in one arc technically.
That's
and he's on our list. I mean, come on.
But he's just so badass, and like just the whole layer of like he was who All Might would potentially actually pass One for All onto, and so you introduce this character that's kind of like this is ideally who Deku would be at at that point. Just a great character, man, and like his face is all different than the rest of them. It's hilarious.
No, and it's funny because it kind of works also with the idea, like because now that you think about it, with the things that we know from the manga now we kind of see why Lemillion wasn't the right choice.
I feel bad for anime onlys watching this because they're just like, y'all keep saying the manga.
In other words, what we're saying is, okay,
read the manga.
Can I do an unsanctioned promotion here? Is that okay?
Go for it, man. Go ahead,
dude. Guys, there's no reason why you should not have a Viz manga subscription. It's $2.99 a month. Damn it! No, it's really so good. There's so much to read there. Jujutsu Kaisen's in there for free. Like My Hero Academia. You can buy Beastars on there as soon as it comes out. Like, there's so much good stuff in there.
Wait,
My Hero Vigilantes is also on there.
Yeah,
I've
been pretty much just about any popular manga is on there, and it's only $2.99.
Isn't the Promised Neverland on the West also?
I don't believe so.
I thought it was. I think it is. Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure something. Or if you want to go the other route, you can look up Manga Fox, and that's all free.
Yeah, just read the Promised Neverland and don't
$3 isn't so bad.
And I'm gonna head out.
This guy's like, Manga Fox, goodbye. All right, so I'm gonna go to you first, actually, this time, Brandon. What makes My Hero Academia such an enjoyable series? Because you see even people who aren't as interested in anime and manga really getting into this anime. And I think a layer of it is the Western superhero stereotypes that are introduced into this, but there's so much more, like the heart of the characters, seeing Deku start from the bottom and trail his way up through the series. There's so many different things, but why to you is this such an incredible series?
I think you hit on a lot of very important ideas, because the first thing is that you get when you think about it, My Hero Academia is one of those few animes that really fuses both cultures in terms of things that are enjoyable for both Western audiences as in American Western audiences, and people from Japan and all that area, right? So you're fusing those two cultures in a way, because you really don't. The idea of heroes is always, whenever you think about heroes, you think about DC and Marvel. You don't think about anything else really. But now you're seeing this anime coming from over there that is based on that. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of X-Men parallels and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff there. So that's the first thing. And I think that makes it very accessible. I think, to me, what makes it so much more appealing is the original idea of making the main character, primarily powerless. Mm-hmm. And then the idea that he acquires power, but that he has to grow into it. And like, I don't think, because always, I mean, yes, you can say that he's Spider-Man, like that, like the passing of the quirk is a spider bite, right? But the idea that he lives in a world where power is normal and he doesn't have it, and the way that they make that particular origin story, like I still watch the first 2 episodes, and every time I watch it, I cry.
Oh, so good, dude.
Because it's just so good, so emotional, like it feels real. You know what I mean? Like we've all been there where there's something that we want so much, but then it's so out of reach to where it's all about defying the odds, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just an honest story. And I think the fact that the show is consistently honest with its storytelling. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't try to confuse you. It doesn't try to be too hard for you to follow. It's one of those shows that it's just it is what it is right in front of you, and that's it.
Absolutely.
So anybody can jump in. And for example, this first episode of season 5 is just that. Like anybody can jump in and watch this and have no idea what the show is about. But because he has so many traits that we're used to, because we live in a post-Marvel world, because we live in a post-Avengers world, this makes sense and it's easily accessible. So it has a lot of marketing things and stuff like that make it very accessible. But then again, when you actually start watching it, the story's great.
Yeah.
It's super smart. Like, for example, Attack on Titan, it's a bit harder to get into.
No spoils there.
No. I'm not. Because it's a horror show, at least in the beginning. But then as Isayama starts weaving the threads in different directions, it becomes something else. Which I find it very interesting because kind of Horikoshi is starting to do that towards where it's going now. Like it's really transforming the show into something else and something different, which is very interesting. But yeah, like for I think it's its own thing because of that. Because it's so many familiar things that makes it very accessible for everybody. But the story in and of itself has so much heart and so much originality that's why people stay. Because you got to think about it. If you take the story away, this is like any other shonen. Like, for example, a lot of people rave about Jujutsu Kaisen, and it's not a bad show. It's fantastic. But like I said in our pod with Isaac, it's really just another shonen show that has enough original stuff to make it interesting. But at the end of the day, in My Hero, it's not just any shonen. It has so many familiar things that if you take the story away, it loses everything. It loses all its appeal because it feels like something you've seen before. But the story itself has so much heart that's why people stay. People go and stay for people find out about it for the familiar, but they stay for the story. They stay for the characters, and they stay for the arcs.
Oh yeah, and it deviates from that, and it's kind of, I'll admit this with the manga, it's kind of getting back into those shonen stereotypes a little bit. The further along they go, especially with what's happened with One for All with Deku lately. But like what I liked when it started out is that you had a character who kind of wasn't really even meant to be in the spot he was meant to be in, but he happened to be at the right place at the right time with the right goal to get to where he wanted to go. And he had to grow with that power through the time. But what was so cool and what so many people graze over with Deku was that he actually knew a lot of stuff up here. He just wasn't able to apply it because he didn't actually have a quirk. But he was somebody who had to like use resourcefulness and his knowledge of other quirks to catch up and get ahead of his classmates. And that's something that you do kind of see in other anime, but there's typically some kind of, my biggest example is Naruto. There's typically some kind of hidden power, some kind of something, like especially with Bleach, Naruto, you got Ichigo and the hollow powers. You've got Naruto with the nine-tailed fox. There's always some kind of caveat, but with Deku, it was never like that. He actually had to learn One for All from the beginning, get his ass beat when using it, get injured continuously. It's just been such a cool, like, I feel like I've watched a kid grow up. Like, I mean, for Christ's sake, there's no time skips, really. Even in the latest chapter, what is it? Like, didn't you say, Mike, it was like 6 months or 2-3 months? It's like, that's not even a time skip.
I think it was like 2 months at most.
Like, that's not even a time skip. So, like, we're watching this kid grow up, essentially.
Yeah. And you know what? And I don't want to talk too much, but I want to say one more thing. I take the Spider-Man thing back.
He's like Spider-Man, though.
But are you gonna let me throw my twist? Damn it! No.
Go ahead.
No. But I think he's more like the Flash, Barry Allen. Here's why. Because the cool thing about Barry that a lot of people don't grasp, that I love, for example, is that before the lightning bolt, Barry was a hero. He was a cop.
Yep.
He worked solving crimes so that people wouldn't suffer injustices because people wouldn't take the time to solve the mysteries of murder. He was already a hero. He was already devoted so that people wouldn't suffer like he suffered when his father was framed for his mother's murder. So he was always in that search of truth, and that drove him. That was a defining factor that drove everything he did. The lightning bolt just made his life more interesting. It made him. And the Flash is the manifestation that the lightning bolt provided, not the hero. That it didn't create the hero. The hero was already there. The same thing goes with Deku. The quirk just made everything that was already in there explode.
So with that, it kind of sounds like he's also Steve Rogers. A little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
actually, that's a
he really is
example,
like Cap.
especially when them pecs knowing.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I'm coming at this from a slightly different perspective than you guys. My Hero Academia is the first anime I've actually diligently watched. I watched Dragon Ball Z when I was young. When I was younger. And so I actually saw My Hero on Hulu, added to my list. Then Isaac messaged me. He said, "You got to check out My Hero." And I'm like, okay, well, it's already in my list. Let me hit play. And so fell in love with it like Brandon after the first episode. The reason I think it clicks, though, is because I still don't consider myself like a big anime fan. It's just not a style that I'm really into. I'm experimenting more and more thanks to our friends at the Amateur Otake. But I think the reason it hits for me at least is because it's just different enough, like Brandon said, where I'm a huge superhero nerd. Love it. Marvel, DC, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all that stuff. I'm down with it. And this takes the idea of superpowers and kind of flips it around and introduces something new. Like Ida, he's technically a speedster, but instead of having super speed like the Flash or Quicksilver, he has engines in his legs. Like, come on. That's ridiculous. Aside from that, though, I also think it's the characters. They're just so likable. Like Uraraka or Lemillion or Amajiki or Fat Gum. Every character that's introduced in this show, you instantly fall in love with, except for Mineta. He needs to go.
oh, come on. What's wrong with grapes, man?
Mineta and his sticky balls need to go, man. That's all I got to say.
Well, you actually brought up something like really good, and
sticky
it was
balls?
that it flips it. We've all been there. But it does flip the superhero formula on its head.
Yep.
And it does it that these characters have weaknesses that come along with their quirks. They have limitations, and that's something that we don't really see in Marvel and DC that often. Yes. Especially with a character like Superman.
Right, that's what makes All Might so good, is because he is Superman.
Right.
Like, to the public eye, he's Superman, right? But when he's with Deku, that's why I love All Might. He shrinks back down, literally. And he's more introverted, he's more quiet. He's not talking like this anymore. You know? And it's like, seeing the internal struggle All Might has of society losing its number one hero and its symbol of peace. That is interesting, seeing it from All Might's perspective, seeing it from Deku, who knows he has to replace All Might. And then that spills over into Endeavor's character, knowing he needs to replace All Might now. And it's like, all of these characters are so intertwined. Like, Bakugo was the worst, and now he's one of my favorite characters.
Right.
Because as the story develops, you start to learn more of them. And I think that's why, like Isaac says, he'd rather watch a show about Todoroki. I think that's why you can get away with something like that, because Deku, as much as I love him, the show's not afraid to shift the spotlight to somebody else.
Yep.
And at times that might be a detriment to Deku's character, because there's this past arc in the manga. I'm not going to spoil what happens, but it's like Deku was kind of absent for like 2 arcs straight.
Go ahead and spoil, bro. Like, at this point, we done already dropped manga stuff. It's cool.
It's just Deku's absent for like 2 months straight. We're following Hawks, we're following Endeavor, we're following Mirko, Aizawa, Present Mike. But when he finally shows back up, it's an incredible moment. It's just like, there's my boy.
Yeah,
That's the character I fell in love with.
He's back.
Right. That's pretty. It's like Spider-Man 2. Newspaper flips around.
Yes.
no, and you know what? You say that, and it's all. It has to do also with the fact that, and this is what I like about creators, especially mangakas, because mangakas, when they tackle, especially the people like Isayama, people like Horikoshi, I wonder if Tite Kubo does the same thing towards the end. I'm not sure, but one of the things that I've enjoyed so much is the fact that they're taking genres, right, or their own shows to explore very interesting topics. And I like how after being this straight up shonen show, this especially in the manga, which you're going to start seeing now, this is developing into it has like a political thriller vibe in terms of this idea of exploring the effects of a hero society, or the effect that the idea of a hero and the idea of villains have on society, and how it can and how in the absence of a society that depends on heroes, it can actually be a detriment to society.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's because of the systems in place, because of the dependency, and how it explores the idea of what a hero is, the idea of what a hero should and shouldn't do. So it becomes a lot more. It still is about the characters, but it's now becoming more about the ideas and the philosophy of what it is and what heroism is. And one of the most powerful moments that explores that, apart from everything that's going on with Deku right now, is that press hearing with Hawks and Endeavor, when they question what Hawks did. And he talks about, at the moment, I felt I had no choice. And this is from a society that understands or believes a hero is meant to not kill. Like, but then what happens when they cross the line for the greater good?
Yeah.
Does it make him not a hero? And is asking all these very interesting questions that, unless you're like, for example, you can't tackle these questions head on. Like, these questions, like if the show started tackling all this from the get-go, it wouldn't work. But because they've built this world of these characters that we enjoy, and because these topics are affecting our characters directly, now we're into the argument. Now we want to listen to what they're saying and what they're exploring, and it's making the show a lot more enjoyable. And I like how in the beginning, like right in the second to last chapter, where the time skip occurs in the final frame, that we see Deku with his new suit and everything.
Oh, like 306, right?
Right.
Yep.
And literally you hear him say, "Oh, a giant villain."
Yeah.
But but you can hear the disdain and the sadness in his voice. It kind of shows you, like, being a hero, like, it's not just now it's not about the excitement of being a hero. Now it's all about the struggle of being a hero.
And yeah, that's why this show works so well, is because of the world building, like you said. Because I don't know if you remember, but in episode 1, in chapter 1, when we first meet Deku, he looks up and he says, "A giant villain." And he's awestruck and he's so happy because Mount Lady shows up. And it's just like 300 chapters later, oh, a giant villain. And he has to go stop it. And it's like, as a viewer and as a reader, that's incredible, because you feel the same way. We wanted to see All Might fight the Nomu, but we didn't really want to see Deku fight Overhaul, because we're now in the battle, right? We're trying to save this girl from being abused and tortured. And it's like, from the outside, All Might beat up a giant villain. Great. But once Deku becomes a hero and starts doing hero work, that's when the show gets darker.
Yeah.
The show got darker after the
As
overhaul
hell.
arc, and it's just going to keep going.
Because it's not about the save. You know, it's not about the superficial save. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not about just saving the people falling down the helicopter. It's not just about catching that cart of kids as it's been let go by the Green Goblin from the Brooklyn Bridge. It's not just that. It's not about people that you can't connect with. It's about the people that no one can save, or the people that nobody has tried to save.
Mm-hmm.
The people that nobody knows are hurting, and because it's the show is wanting to go there,
and it diverts from the superficial because All Might was the superficial. He was the number one hero. He was the symbol of peace that could show up and could just beat the villain, mop him up, and that was it. Like there was no layer of character to that moment. There was no doubt. There was no. But without the number one hero, there are struggles. There's realities, and without the symbol of peace, now people in the actual society are starting to wonder, do we even need these heroes, especially in the most recent chapter?
And Leo, that's what makes this world building so great, though, because we
Yeah.
learned that in the first episode.
Yep.
Except it didn't click with us until now that all those heroes could not save Bakugo. Some of them were afraid to save Bakugo from the sludge villain.
Yeah.
And the only person who jumped in was a civilian, which was Deku, a powerless civilian. And it's like, if All Might just wasn't there, Deku, Bakugo and Deku would have died.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even
it's
All
like-
Might himself was like,
Right.
I don't know, might have to take one for the team, my man. Like,
And it's
No.
like, that was the first instance that Hero Society is flawed.
totally.
Because they were just going to stand there. Like, Mount Lady was just like, I am too big to fit down there, so I'm just going to wait.
Right.
And it's like, that leads to what Stain was saying. And as the story progresses, Stain is right.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? And it's interesting also because it makes you think that the flawed hero society that is now being exposed is kind of All Might's fault.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
And-
Absolutely.
And the idea of accepting that and exploring that.
That's another theme about the show, though, is because Deku and his friends are probably going to be the ones who have to put the world back together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, all the heroes were so stuck on the fame and the fortune and being number one or being number two. And it's like, I don't think we need rankings anymore. Maybe
Nah.
we just need Shoto, Deku, Lemillion, and God Explosion Murder Dynamite to go out there.
Yes!
And stop
Yo,
all
yo, yo,
for
yo.
one.
Murder God.
Okay.
Okay?
Too many
Murder
words,
God,
man.
explosion, dynamite. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's such a great point because at this point where the superhero society has come, it's like, who cares about ranks? Who cares about the superficial? Who cares? We just need saving. I mean, we even see a couple of students from UA trying to save some people, and they're not even willing to be saved at this point. Like, dude, who cares? You're from UA, whatever. We don't even care. Nobody cares anymore. And you're right, it's All Might's fault. My man Isaac, though, why is this such a good show to you, man? Like, what makes this such a good series?
I mean, you have sort of like taken all the
All the
words
good
out
stuff.
of my mind. So, yeah, I'm sitting here like in a group assignment, trying to think of something new there, and everyone else is doing the job, and I'm just, what the F am I going to say?
Sorry.
And it's good. It's good because I absolutely agree with you all. Because I was going to chime in and do a whole. It's like poetry. It's a rhyme with a whole. Oh, a giant villain. Because yeah, it's sort of like, what's that supposed to mean? But anyway. But it's. I think that it's sort of like what's it? It's the whole. What this makes it so great is that it's a lot. It's a perfect story for escapism, so to speak. It's
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
you can I love me some DC, I love me some Marvel, don't get me wrong, but it's easier to see myself in Deku than it is in Superman, Batman,
Absolutely.
Captain America, Iron Man, much because he is starting as the geek that doesn't have any powers but gets on. Sure, Steve Rogers is also that, but Deku and Captain America is Steve Rogers isn't. I argue that they aren't. They don't have the same approach, so to speak, because he is he is assigning himself to the an army, so to speak, and it's sort of like he became that because he's shown. Maybe it's just me, but I think the execution and all that of why the power is the difference between the two, because it's if superheroes was a real thing, it's I argue that it's a more plausible scenario that
For sure.
a superhero would see something with a civilian, then they would see something with good look in the military or something. They would just look at as soldiers, so to speak. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'm just overthinking it or not. But
you're making the connection there. They're more relatable, and I think what makes My Hero work is it's the combination of Western storytelling and Eastern storytelling, where it feels like the real world, but it also still has that fantasy element, which is why you're saying it has that escapism.
Exactly.
And that's why shows like Naruto and Dragon Ball and Avatar are so popular, because they have a level of escape, but you still connect to those characters as well.
Absolutely. They have relatable layers, and all of them have what's good about My Hero Academia is that you have strengths and weaknesses. Those things don't always exist depending on the writer in comics. They don't always exist. It can typically end up being, okay, the hero saves the day. That's not always the case here.
Yeah, like Endeavor overheats.
Right.
Human Torch doesn't. And so that's another thing you have to think of. It's like when they enter a fight, they have to be in tune with, what can I do here? What is my limitation? How long can I go? How long can I do this? And it's like, does the Flash get tired? Not really.
Right. There's like this heightened awareness factor that they have to be. They have to be self-aware to be able to get over those humps that will come in the way eventually. And
which
each of them have
danger,
one.
Yeah.
And you know what's very interesting also that I was just thinking about this while Isaac was talking is that one of the things that makes this show so relatable, so interesting, is the fact that it's not what you see in most comic books, that superpowers are a rarity. The idea that quirks are something that 80% of the population have, and some of them decide to be heroes. You see what I'm saying? I think it gives you a nice, interesting twist because it makes it interesting, because then you got to ask yourself, okay, because unless that happens, then you can't ask yourself, okay, why are they choosing to be the heroes? Because when you think about it, when you go to stories like in DC and Marvel and stuff like that, they have to be the heroes because they're the only ones with power.
Right. That's
not the case here. Everybody has a quirk. Everybody has something. I mean, maybe your quirk is that your fingers become forks, and that's not great.
Well, and I'm gonna cut in really quick, because a really good point that we talked about earlier was All Might. That is why people want to become heroes. The status, the fame, punching and beating up villains and having it look cool and things like that. It's the image, and that is breaking down after All Might is gone.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. One for all, 100%.
Plus Ultra.
Man. Yes, sir.
So we did spoil the manga. I just want to say this episode of the anime was really good.
So
we didn't talk about the vestiges.
I was gonna ask you. I almost wanted them to be 2 separate episodes because, like, I really liked getting that moment with the Todoroki family. I almost wanted it to be 1 episode and then go into the vestiges in the next episode. But getting them both together wasn't so bad.
It did feel
totally
a little
with Leo.
rushed to me. I'm sorry, what were you saying, Isaac?
What's that, Isaac?
I was just gonna say that I'm totally with Leo. That's all.
Yeah. It feels a little rushed because I guess this is me now knowing what happened, how this goes in the manga. It's the scene with Dabi felt like it could have been a minute longer.
Oh yeah,
Because Mirako shows up and she like says one line and then we cut away. And
Dabi's
it's
like,
what was the point of showing this interaction because nothing really happened? So I think they should have stretched that out a little bit more. And yeah, I agree.
Dabi like barfed and then dipped out. Like, I was like, what was that goop that came out of his mouth? But one thing that the anime is doing that, if I'm not mistaken, is further along in the manga, is it revealed Hawk's working with the League of Villains early. Like, isn't this early for that? I think this is kind of early.
It might be it might be a little bit early.
No.
Probably would have happened in the next episode.
Well, the Hawks
I didn't
thing
think
happens.
it happened that soon.
No, the Hawks thing happens right away after the battle with the Nomu.
Yeah.
You
Really?
actually in the book you actually get the battle with the Nomu, you get the tease of the Hawks League of Villains thing, and then you get the Class 1A and 1B battles.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought the Hawks thing was after the 1A, 1B stuff.
There's another Hawks thing you might get confused to.
Well,
Exactly.
maybe so.
Yep. There's
But,
a lot of Hawks thing coming, guys. There's a lot of Hawks things.
Which is what makes him such a great character.
Oh my god,
So
Hawks
good.
is so awesome.
Oh
no,
my god.
Okay, can I spoil something? I'm sorry.
Oh, dude, go for it. Dude, we are full spoilers
Okay,
here.
so am I the only one whose heart welled up and broke when you find out that Hawks is an Endeavor fan?
It didn't really break for me. Like, I almost was like,
but
amazing.
for me, it was because it makes me think like at some point Hawks was like Deku.
Yeah.
So,
But he
I
was
don't know
like
if this
that
was-
for Endeavor. And then the idea that him working with Endeavor is like he's not showing it, but it's like a dream come true for him.
Totally.
To me, that's tight.
That's also why
Bet.
he's so involved in their family drama now.
Exactly.
He's an adopted Todoroki brother.
Yes. Well, he's all burned up.
Chicken.
God,
fried
bro.
chicken.
Oh my Kentucky Fried Hawks.
Oh my god, KFH. Goddamn.
Yo, I'm gonna get a shirt. It's gonna say KFH Originals Recipe. Prominence.
Oh my
Prominence.
God.
Oh my god.
So,
Prominence fried chicken, baby.
Prominence.
This is so bad.
Man.
So,
This is so bad.
thought I was the
And
one that
Isaac hasn't
made it.
even said anything.
And I thought
Yeah,
I was the
Isaac-
one with the weird jokes.
Yeah.
we're taking over for you, Isaac. You don't have to.
We're
do
being
that
punny
one
today.
If it's
We got
only
a
was
pun.
puns. But yeah, when it comes to the... Is it just me that feels like... when it whole... the last panel, by the way. If I'm going back to the manga.
was
How do
that?
you
What
just the whole a villain? Does it sort of like feel like Old Man Logan, what is it called?
Yes.
Batman.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. It feels like he's aged up so much.
In only
why it
2
feels
months,
like a
though.
time
See,
skip.
I'm okay. That's my one gripe right now. Is I'm like, this should be a 2-year time skip. I mean, come on now. He's
Well,
gotten
but-
to this point where he's like,
Well, at the
already?
same time, to me, I'm going to
Well,
say
it
this.
has been a couple years though.
Well, this is the way I feel. I think it's been more than 2 months. That's how I feel. I might be wrong. But I wouldn't be surprised because think about this. He's a kid, right? He's not even 19, right? He has this huge responsibility, blah, 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 right? I was actually thinking about this before the pod. So you guys ready? I'm going to go on a rabbit hole. It's not just the
You
fact
always
that
go to a rabbit hole. That's
and
nothing
Deku's a
new,
rabbit.
bud.
So it's not just the fact. I think there's got to be like a hyperbolic time chamber kind of element of going into the Visages and stuff like that, because he's getting so much information bombarded into him. So that's got to have an effect. That's one. Two, he suffered so many losses consistently. But three, I think the biggest thing here that I don't think I think it's going to become a factor. I would like it to become a factor that I'm kind of seeing is this idea. The idea that to reach his greatest dream, for his dream to come true, the whole world has now been put in danger. He is the reason. His dream coming true is the reason why the world is in chaos. Which is why he runs away from everything. Which is why he's gone solo. And he's disconnected from all the people that have brought him joy. Because he doesn't want to become harmful to them. Because him being the wielder of one for all, he is public enemy number one to a degree. And the idea that the reason everything's happening is because all for one wants one for all. It's a huge burden. So and to think about that, this is the kid that wanted this more than anything. And he has it now. But at what cost? That's a very interesting argument.
Now hold on though, Deku ain't running away now. He ain't never ran.
No, but he's running away, not in the sense that he's running away from the battle, but he's pulling a Batman where he's pushing everyone away.
Yeah.
You know what I
see
mean?
what you mean. Yeah,
he's
disconnecting.
Exactly. He's pulling a Sasuke. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he's disconnecting from everything that he holds dear to be stronger, to be able to be the Hokage or whatever. You know what I mean?
So I know I told you guys this off air, but remember when I said Bakugo was Naruto?
I think you've mentioned, yeah.
Yeah.
And now Deku is Sasuke. That's insane.
And
But-
I think about it, this series has gone on for what, 2 years? Because when they started in it's at least been a year throughout the entire series.
How do you mean? As in,
Like,
Oh,
haven't
you
they
mean
gone
in
from one
universe?
grade to another? Yeah, like in universe. I'm talking.
I think
from,
they just entered their second year, like before
Right.
this last war.
the fuck. Okay, come on. Now.
well. Remember, the way they've done it is like each season is a semester, or a term, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Jeez.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, remember the first season was all about like the first month or so.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
And they
mean?
got
So,
attacked by the League of Villains. Like,
The
Right.
Month
only
one.
time skip we've actually had was Deku trading with All Might to his entrance exam.
which was
That's
9
the
months.
only major time skip we had.
that was a lot of trash.
Dagobah.
Hollering
No,
a
hey,
lot of
stop.
trash.
Damn.
Hey, stop trash talking Deku.
I mean, Deku
Yeah.
does mean.
You know what?
breakfast.
One of these days, I'm gonna dress up as Deku, but I'm gonna use I'll be garbage pail Deku. Like there's a universe where Deku's a garbage man.
What?
I don't know.
No comment. No comment.
Is it April Fool's? Why are these two reversed?
Right. What in
I
the
don't
world?
know. I don't know what's going on. It's damn it,
What's in
Isaac.
the cup, dude? No.
Yeah, right.
No,
That's
Diet,
not soda.
no, that's Diet Dr Pepper. I got to drive, so
Well,
So,
okay.
one thing I love about Deku's entire journey and all of this, though, is like you said, just seeing how the war is affecting him and like the responsibility that he has to shoulder, because he's not just thinking about himself.
Yep.
He's thinking about Bakugo and Shigaraki even, and it's just like
Right.
that's
the
a
whole
lot of
arc
weight.
with Shigaraki, dude.
What a lot. I mean, the fact that he looks at Shigaraki and says, "I'm gonna save you too." Like, what? Our man Deku about to save the whole world.
No, and
World's
the
greatest
thing
hero.
is this: the way they've planted this idea or this motivation or this want or need, you know that they're not going to back out of this.
Yeah.
Like this is the arc. This is the direction. I mean, it might not lead to Shigaraki being saved, but that's going to be like the main point of contention here, which is going to make the whole bout very interesting.
Okay,
because you
so
got to think about it. Deku's probably going to be the only hero thinking that way. And that's going to put him
save Shigaraki.
Yes, and that's going to put him in conflict with every other hero.
Absolutely, because everybody else is going to want to kill him.
Yep. Oh snap!
Got the Deku hoodie out.
Oh my god! Oh, Mike ain't
I had to
playing.
beat him to the cosplay.
Oh, Mike ain't even playing.
Somebody said they were coming to the stream as Deku, and it's not Brandon.
You're not gonna break your hands now. Please don't break your hands. Too graphic.
Hey, at least it's not Aaron.
Well,
I don't want to know that
tragic.
reference, my guy.
All right, Isaac, I'm gonna start with you with this one since we've gotten into about a good hour of conversation in the anime and the manga. Where are we going here? What's the end game for My Hero Academia? Where are we going? Are we getting into a society where there are heroes, but there's no more rankings? There's no more. Are we getting to a society that could potentially be quirkless? Where are we going?
I can see both way, to be honest, because I think you have a point when it comes to that. A big reason why they are the situation is the way it is because the fame went off. Just the fame went over their head. They didn't think about as a truly being a hero. So I can see the Deku and his classmates end up like, well, to do the Avengers and DC Comics connection again. They could end up being their answer to Justice League or Avengers, with the biggest part of the ranking maybe that Deku being the Superman / Captain America in terms of leadership, so to speak. Which is arguably the only ranking I would see, considering when he is at his fullest power, which I argue that we probably will see. He's more than likely going to be the strongest of the strongest, and he is arguably the smartest, which is why I could see him as a Captain America, Superman kind of role, or something happened at the end after they defeat the bad guys that the Kirks disappears for or whatever reason. Maybe they even defeat the villains through the means of removing the Kirks, so to speak. And he gets the title of the #1 hero because, yes, this will be quite dark, but maybe he does sacrificing himself and sort of like speaking, putting out a commission through a means of, I don't know, something that make them lose the powers, but he dies with it. And his whole narration about him talking about this is how I become the first #1 hero is through the means of him talking through the afterlife or something. Yes, I know that's dark, but I mean,
it could go that way. I mean, imagine if One for All was also it does transfer from one person to another. Imagine if it could also absorb quirks, and he used all the quirks to beat All for One. That kind of, is that where you're kind of going with the scenario?
Sort of.
And then he sacrifices himself, and no more quirks. Ooh, damn, that would kind of. Ooh, no more quirks, y'all.
I think that has a really huge possibility of happening. I would be surprised if it did that, because we introduce Eri and quirk erasing bullets, and there's something poetic
Exactly.
of Deku starting the story quirkless and ending the story quirkless. And so there's also, like you guys are saying, he has all the powers of the other users of One for All. So who's to say he doesn't have All for One's power where he can just take quirks?
Right.
You know? And so I think what's going to end up happening is that, one, we're going to have our Sasuke retrieval arc where everybody's going to have to go after Deku. That's going to happen. You know, Bakugo is going to get a team to go and get this kid back.
And beat him down, man.
Which would be a nice parallel to when Deku saved Bakugo.
Yes.
But I think that would be one of the next few storylines. Maybe more Deku working alone. But I think the end game would have to be doing away with quirks, because they're going into the quirk singularity, which is a theme that they've been playing with anyway, of kids are getting more and more powerful to the point where they're so powerful, Deku can't pass this power on to anyone else.
Yeah.
And so they're going to have to figure out a way to just deal with the quirk problem, because once you go past Deku, what's going to happen?
Yeah, and you can't even pass on One for All anymore. I mean, what does that mean for the entire hero society as a whole? Like, what does that moment in the manga mean? This is the end of the line?
Right, like the only person who might be able to take it might be Eri, if she could rewind herself with it. But even then, it's like,
Which is why I could see Deku ending up sacrificing himself in order to take ending it all, so to speak. Yes, this is a dark thought about it all, but considering how dark this manga is turning out to be right now, I don't think that's an impossibility, so to speak.
I super don't want Deku to die, though. Like, I think I would be on the ground crying if he died.
I don't think he will, because he's narrating the story, and Isaac says he could be narrating from the afterlife, but if he can't pass the quirk on, there's no reason for him to be right. There's no reason for him to be a vestige. Right. So I think he's alive and he's telling the story to somebody else at UA or something like that. I don't know.
I mean, it's possible that he do it from the afterlife, but it could also mean that he tells it from a student, maybe. Maybe if they want to go Boruto route, please don't.
Oh, let's not. No.
He tells it to his kid or grandkid, so to speak.
And don't make a My Hero Academia like or Boruto. Like, we don't need any of that.
The Boruto movie was pretty fire. I'm just gonna say it.
The movie was dope, but like what they're doing with the Naruto lore right now is absolutely ridiculous. But that's a conversation for another day. Brandon, where do you predict the series going?
Well, I can't say I agree with the idea of quirkless society, and I don't think I can agree with the idea of Deku dying, because of what the show, because of what Horikoshi is doing with the philosophy of heroes. Because I think that the point where he is at the manga right now, I think this is the conversation that he's been wanting to have with us from the beginning. He's been wanting to ask these questions, because you got to think, this manga arrived at a time where the world is obsessed with heroes. And heroes are blowing up everywhere. So now he's questioning and he's having a philosophical argument about the idea of heroes. So I think it all comes down to the idea of, this is the idea of what heroes are supposed. This is the idea of what a hero is as it exists in this hero society. Here is why this idea is not working out. These are the results of that flawed idea. But here is how real heroes rise. Because you can't call this show My Hero Academia without redeeming the idea of heroes. And the idea that we need heroes.
But do you think the ranking system will come back?
But that's the thing, though. The ranking system is a hero society flaw, which the show has gone on of its way in pointing out. And the idea that real heroes exist, which is going back to what Mike was mentioning. He's there
somewhere.
whatever. What the other thing is that's the whole argument that Stain is talking about. Yeah. Like, what are real heroes supposed to do? Like, what are real heroes supposed to be? Mm-hmm. So I see the show ending, yes, with the idea of what real heroes are redeemed in the form of Deku, in the form of Class 1A. You know what I mean? I would even say it's not about the hero courses. It's not about the university. It's not about the making of the money. It's about doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
And if you have the power to do the right thing, just do it. Which is why, for example, to me, I find it very interesting that in this society where villains run amok, people are taking arms to defend themselves and are saying we don't need heroes anymore. Because when you think about it, it's not about you depending on someone else. If you have the ability to do the right thing and protect someone, do it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And those are the arguments that he's having. So I think when this comes to a head, yes, we're going to have our bombastic battle against All for One. Yes, we're going to have this crazy moment where he might end up quirkless too.
That's what I was thinking. Deku comes out of it quirkless since he started it ended quirkless.
It is very possible that that's a possibility.
Yeah.
But I think what I double down and I really hope they do is that Horikoshi is going to find a way to redeem heroes, redeem the idea of heroes. So by the end of it, we had an idea what a hero was supposed to be, but now we're seeing what real heroes look like.
Yeah, because you push it out of the status system and into, like you're saying, just to do the right thing.
Okay.
A more philosophical, mental approach to being a hero.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, I don't think I would like it to be a quirkless society. However, if Deku made the ultimate sacrifice and gave up his quirk in order, which I kind of feel like that's where this is going. In order to end All for One, you gotta end One for All. Yeah. I kind of feel like they coexist. And with Deku being the last user of One for All, technically, this is it, y'all. Like, gonna have to team up with Shiggy and then take him out.
But you got to think about it too. Let's have the conversation. It's not even his quirk to begin with.
Yeah.
But again, though, this is me having the crazy theory right quick. 1 second. So nobody else can use the power of One for All from this point on, right? He can't really pass it down.
Nope.
What happens if he willingly gives it to All for One? Will he be able to handle it? Because now Deku has unlocked Danger Sense and Float and Black Whip. So now it's 10 times stronger than when All Might had it. So that might be his trump card to say, okay, I'll give you the quirk. And then it just like takes him out from the inside.
Ooh, a la Matrix Revolutions kind of thing.
A little bit.
Like when he takes Neo and he goes like, and he just blows up.
Yeah.
No, and here's the thing though. And then we got the tease of the other two users that we have no idea.
Kirishima.
Yeah, right.
Don't they look exactly like them? Yep. I'm like, they got spiky hair.
That's a whole fan theory. It's called the Back You Go theory.
Yep, I've seen that on YouTube. It's like the way he explains it to. I'm like, damn, this is kind of convincing, my guy. Like he time traveled back to get whole other thing.
That's another discussion all on its own.
Right.
There's no time travel in this show. Damn it. No.
You don't know that? Somebody's got a time. Eri can rewind shit. Somebody's got a time travel quirk.
No. She's there to fill that gap. Done. No more time travel shenanigans.
All these quirks. I'm just saying, somebody got the power to send somebody in the past.
No, but like what you guys were saying, society needs real heroes. So what's going to happen, I think the end of the show is exactly like Brandon said, and even a bit of what Isaac said. Class 1A, instead of being a celebrity type of deal, like how heroes are, instead of being celebrities, they're going to just be the Justice League.
Hell yeah. The Avengers, boom. Come in, save the day, no ranks.
They show up when they're needed. They don't need the money, except for Araka. She's broke. She needs the money. But aside from that,
And see, I think if Deku ends it quirkless, he's still gonna be on like a Batman level. I feel like he's still gonna be involved in coordinating and leading the team.
We didn't even have. Yeah, like as the story goes on, Deku loses a bit of that. He kind of just goes in and he punches stuff like All Might. I want Deku to get back to assessing the situation with all the knowledge he has.
Mm-hmm.
You know, being able to be that Batman character. One thing I like about the last couple of issues is he's embodying Aizawa more than he does All Might now, which I think is interesting for his character. He's kind of on gargoyles at night, looking at all the crime happen, then he swoops in, saves the day.
No, and you know what? Think about this also. I think we're starting to see a little bit of what you want to see, Mike. And here's why I say that. Because think about this. From the longest time, the only venture that he's really had is All Might, right? A little bit of Gran Torino. But even when Gran Torino was involved, it's all about All Might's side of the quirk, right? Mm-hmm. But now that he's acquiring the access to the other quirks, is forcing him to be analytical again.
Right.
So they're using the idea of these additional powers to bring back that layer of expertise where he has to analyze things again. So I think that's what we're starting to see come back. And like the conversation that he has with Endeavor as he's training with him, the whole thing with Black Whip, the idea that he uses Black Whip like Suyu.
Floppy. Yeah, that's
like,
tight.
There's a lot of different little things that he's been doing that I think he has to. He has to embrace. He can't lose his personality anymore the one of his hero. He's now gaining his own thing.
Right, and wasn't shoot style like based off of Ida's engine quirk?
Right, so it's like everything Deku does is based off of somebody else.
Yeah,
and so what I like is that he's coming into his own with all these different quirks and figuring it out on his own. To where the last image of that last issue of him with the bunny ears, but it's like now Deku's a badass.
Yeah, right.
It's him.
My God.
Yeah,
it's him.
That's
but then
his
again,
costume. We laughed at him for 300 chapters.
But then again,
like, there you go.
That's after seeing one badass bunny kick ass, though.
Yep.
I gotta say it.
Oh my God, my mind is blown by the passing on One for All and exploding all for one thing, but. I think that is a good ending there for the series, is to make him the coordinator of the Justice League. Even before he had the quirk, he knew all of their quirks. He studied every student that he knew. He studied every single superhero. So it would only make sense for him to still stay involved, still be number one, but maybe not even have a quirk.
He's like the mixture of Jarvis and Tony Stark.
So we gonna give him an iron suit now? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying Jarvis.
Natsume could if she wanted to.
Hey.
All right, guys. So we've gotten into an hour 20, but let's just kind of go around. Let us know what's coming up on your channels, on your content, and then where we can find you. I'll start with you, Mike.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Novice Cinephile and on Instagram and Facebook at the Novice Cinephile. You can also find me here on YouTube. I just posted a video, Top 10 Fights in My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Counting Season 5, so check that out. That list is going to look radically different as this season goes on. Like, this entire first arc is nothing but fights.
Yes.
But, me and my friend John also have a podcast, Mike and John at the Movies, so you can check that out. We just reviewed Godzilla vs. Kong. I'll share all that stuff on my Twitter, so again, just follow me at Novice Cinephile.
Hell yeah. Scarlet Fan.
So you can find me at the Scarlet Fan 52 on Twitter. You can find me at the Scarlet Fan 52 on Instagram, and you can find me as Brandon Alvarado on Facebook. I got original music. I share thoughts, and I sometimes write for Wombat Entertainment. Isaac, we got Isaac, my co-host, right up there. That figure. We host the Amateur Otake podcast, which is an awesome podcast for people that want to find out what animes to watch. We always try and cover anime in a non-spoiler fashion as much as we can, because what we want to do is encourage you to go watch something. Recently, we just did a stream on Weathering with You. I'm I have a little bit of a backlog of stuff that I need to edit, but there's a lot of old episodes that are going to go back up. But we've covered a bunch of different animes, a bunch of different seasons, a bunch of different movies. You can find us on YouTube at the Amateur Otaku. You can find us on Twitter at Amateur Otaku Pod. And you can also find us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Radio Public. A lot of different podcasts. Wherever podcasts are found, you can find the Amateur Otaku. And we will be joining in full force Woman Entertainment very soon, where we'll be posting a lot of our archive there, so people have another place where they can access Woman Amateur Otaku stuff, close to other great content from other great creators as the Womabam Entertainment Podcast Network continues to grow. Also, we're bringing back a podcast idea that I had a long time ago. That's called the Shatter After Podcast, where we analyze movies. And we actually just recorded one for Woman Entertainment about Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I got to edit and go through that and post it on there. And we're going to be putting a lot more movie analysis and stuff like that. We got a lot of great stuff brewing. Isaac?
Well, you can find my work over at Wobam Entertainment, and you can find me at Twitter at Amblemaniac, that you can see below my profile pic. And like Brandon said, you can also find me over at Anime Podcast and hopefully some more manga stuff with on the Amateur Otaku. Next up, I'm going to make Brandon's head explode with some weird comedy animes. Because we haven't given me the chance to rant about Promised Neverland Season 2 yet.
This is your revenge?
Yes, it's my revenge. It's my revenge.
Gotta get the revenge in. Oh my god. But guys, seriously, thanks for coming out today. It's always great collabing with you guys. This won't be the last collab, so stay tuned. More My Hero Academia content will be coming on this channel. So stay tuned, guys. We'll see you next time.